How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to our post-event commentary coverage of BCS 2425 Pasadena, supported by Bushiroad and hosted on our own Tressa's Collectibles channel. I'm Randall, aka Shizukatz, and joining me once again, we have
Simu, also known as Chairman.
And today we're going to be looking at the top 16 game from the BCS 2425 Pasadena event. In this game, we are going to be seeing two more Quintessential Quintuplets decks, but completely different ones than the one that we saw in the top 32 game. So in top 32, we saw the Nino deck, 8 standby. What are we going to be seeing in this particular game?
Alright, so the plan on the left, we are going to be viewing the Ichika deck. This is going to be 8 choice triggers. However, this is going to be 3 different climaxes at the ratio of 4, 3, and 1. And this is all due to the fact that this Sun Hat...
What is this card called? Quintuplicate trails? Oh,
Quintuplicate?
I know we always like differ on whether or not we say quintuplets or quintuplets between the two of us, but like I'm not gonna try that one.
This one is really hard. Alright. Quintuplicate Trails Ichika Nakano. This is able to salvage any climax with a choice icon in its trigger from the waiting room with the on-play effect, and that allows you to basically choose whichever climax you want, giving you a lot of flexible with this climax lineup, so that even if you have one copy of a climax, you're still able to pretty consistently get it as long as you see it in your waiting room.
Yeah, this is an obscenely powerful card and a huge reason as to why this entire deck structure even works. Definitely one of the highlight cards of the Ichika deck in particular. And as far as the recent Quintuplets Premium Booster, Quintessential Quintuplets Premium Booster that just came out, we do see one particular powerful inclusion, that being Unresolved Feelings Ichika Nakano, a level 1 character that says whenever you have a choice climax in your climax area, this card in all zones also gains a choice icon, allowing you to trigger this and get additional pluses either to hand or to stock. Another very powerful profile.
And one last thing is a really powerful reason to be running the Ichika deck is going to be that 1-0 Ichika event. This event is really, really powerful in this current meta where Nino is expected to be one of the popular decks. This Ichika allows you to grab a Ichika from your waiting room, but most importantly, the final effect, if when you play this card and you mill 2 cards that total level 3...
You have to salvage.
You have to salvage a level 3. So if you mill 2 cards that total 3 or higher and then choose a level 3 or higher to salvage, you can then choose one of your opponent's characters and return to their hand. So all these Ninos that your opponent spends so much time and effort bringing back onto the board, you just send them back to their hand, and now they have to figure out a way to get them back on board again.
Yeah, and like whether that means having to pay stock to play them the fair way, or like just find some way to discard them back into the waiting room, get another standby, bring them out. Like, you got to jump through hoops to do that.
Yeah.
However, that being said, in this particular matchup, this Ichika deck by Kagari is going to be going up against not a standby deck, but a Miku deck of Quintessential Quintuplets. So this is an 8-gate build, each of the quintuplets being known for their own specific climax lineup, and Miku being the 8-gate archetype. So we are going to be seeing a lot of climaxes being salvaged and a lot of comboing turn after turn, just due to these gate climaxes allowing you to salvage additional climaxes whenever they're triggered. So in this particular build being piloted by azn2ko0, maybe just like Asian throughout this game, I suppose. So this build, Miku typically only has blue and green cards for herself, with each of the quintuplets typically basically only being in 2 colors. But we are seeing this little splash of red in this deck in order to allow use for the 2/3 important charm minus soul counter. This is a minus soul counter that we saw in EC's hand in the top 32 game, although it did not see any use in that late game turn. So this is a card that can be splashed into the Miku deck as well. Typically in the Miku deck, if we want to see an extra splash of red, we will typically see the level 0 Nino box topper promo from the set 3 booster, which is on play, you mill 2. If you mill a climax within those 2 cards, you get to salvage a character. In this build, we are not seeing that level 0 Nino. Instead, the entire character lineup of the entire deck is only Miku's, including this level 1, which is kind of only Miku, kind of. It's definitely not only Miku, but like...
It's definitely not only Miku, but it has Miku.
It has Miku on it, but it contributes to the deck being mono Miku. But this is a pretty nice card in its own right. First of all, this card can be played without having color requirements, so you can just put it onto the board even if you don't have red. So it makes it a lot more flexible. You can discard a card to search your deck for any level 1 or lower character and put it directly onto your stage. By discarding
level 0 or lower character.
What did I say? Level 1?
Or lower.
Oh, level 0 or lower, sorry. And then this is also a level 1 or lower reverser. So just a nice way to have a little bit of hand fix in addition to contributing to that red color requirement for that counter.
Yeah, you can discard a Climax with this and turn that into a level 0 character. And there's a lot of really good level 0 characters in the Miku deck, especially with that Brainstorm being something that you need on the end of the at your end board, as well as all the other level 0s that can convert into your in-game pieces, like the level 0 Miku that you can give it the marker.
One, the Harbored Feelings.
Yeah, the Harbored Feelings Miku, where you can summon it out and then give it a marker and then change it into the marker if the marker is the 3/2 Miku.
And as for that Brainstorm in question, this is a brand new profile from the Quintessential Quintuplets Premium Booster, and a really big reason as to the increase in popularity to the Miku deck as a whole, going into the Premium Booster metagame. So this card allows the set 3 finisher, which is the What She Wants to Do, Miku Nakano. Normally she mills only 4 cards from the bottom of the opponent's deck using her Climax combo ability. This allows it to become 5 cards instead, so you have an additional chance to mill a Climax from the bottom of the opponent's deck and get in some nice burn ones. And it's just an overall good Brainstorm with its other 2 abilities. So, is there anything else we want to look at, or should we just get right into the game?
I think we should let's get right into it.
Okay, we do have a pretty interesting variety of level 3s from the Miku player, actually. So this should be a pretty interesting game if some of those unfamiliar profiles do make their way onto the stage. Like, one example is this level 3 that we see in the waiting room. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this card.
I don't think so.
So this is a 2 or less early play healer, and that 2 or less climaxes in waiting room. You can early play it at level 2, and it heals. And then it has the effect where, I believe, if you fulfill the board condition, then it gains additional power, and has the effect where if she is front attacked, you can discard a card, bounce her back to your hand.
I see. Well, so I actually do know these 2 players. They're local friends of mine at 88 Card House in the Bay Area. So I feel like I'm just watching one of my locals play. I've been doing commentary for my locals for the past 4 years, so it's a very familiar sight for me.
Okay, so the card that Asian is going to be opening here is a card that's actually not really run in Miku builds.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one yet.
So this one is a level 0, 500. On play, you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it is a character or event, I believe, you can marker it underneath this as a marker face up. As long as it has a marker, you can give 3k anywhere on attack. And then, additionally, as a third effect... Oh, that is a really good card to counter this.
What was the third effect?
The third effect is... At the start of the Encore step, if you have no other rested characters in your front row, you can pay 1 to put this card back to rest. Ordinarily, this would basically treat it as a 1-stock Encore that allows it to stay on the board and maintain its markers, but we do see this level 0, all of the quintuplets coming out here that says, on play, if your opponent has exactly 1 character in their front row, and that character is a cost 0, you just get to kill it outright.
Yeah, it just sends it away.
Completely bypassing that pseudo Encore ability that would ordinarily require the Miku to stay on board.
That's right. And now, because of that, the gate climax that Asian trigger on the first turn needs to be paid out in some other way, and looks like we're going to be going for a Brainstorm to pay it out here.
Yeah, I believe within that top check 2 on play, we did see 1 climax, so we will see salvage 1. However, this does mean that Asian is out 4 climaxes already?
4 public, right? So there's 2 in waiting room, because
3 in waiting room.
3 in waiting room, 1 clock, yeah.
1 clock, yeah.
Yeah.
And we are going to be just getting back that marker beater back. Probably just put it into play and get a marker. Hopefully get a marker.
So I think it's interesting because it does contribute to marker counts for the early game, which is somewhat important to be having the selectivity on your level 1 combo, because that checks how many markers you have.
So we'll see this level 0 Miku. This is a hand fix card with the profile. You can sacrifice it and discard a card to salvage a Miku from the waiting room. And additionally, on play, what we're seeing here is on play you can choose one of your Mikus that does not have a marker and then give it a marker. This can be used in some pretty interesting ways, but here we're just seeing a Brainstorm being fed to the Brainstorm just to kind of contribute to a little bit of compression on board.
So it's really funny because this Brainstorm's first effect is if you do not control another copy of this Brainstorm, then you get the effect online. So technically, he has 2 copies of the Brainstorm on the field, but he's not controlling the other one because the other one is in the marker area.
Yeah. And the final attacker for Asian is going to be just a second copy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a 0. It'll get him a stock. It'll attack direct and do some damage.
Yeah. The characters on Kagari's board right now, we have that Quintuplets card that is 1500 power, going to be pretty easily defeated here. Actually, I think both of these characters can be defeated, but that level 0 Ichika is a reverser. So I think it is in Asian's best interest to just crash one of these 500 power Mikus into it, rather than use his buffer.
Oh, he's going to use the...
we're using the hand fix
there.
effect immediately to get another copy.
To get another buffer. Interesting. That's a lot of markers.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the idea is here behind this particular play, because the power level is not going to matter on that particular lane because it is a reverser. You can just tie a 500 into it,
right,
and it'll be the same result as if you like buffed it to like 6-5 or something,
right,
and then ran it over. So I think he could have just saved the resource, keep the card in hand, and just crash these two.
Potentially, yeah.
I think maybe he's realizing it now.
Oh. Looks like they're discussing something about it. It looks like it should be still a front attack here.
Yeah,
That's
just asking whether or not the top check 5 effect is on death or on reverse.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So we're seeing a trigger of a gate. So he did not have the level 1 climax in his hand yet, so he is able to get it now off of this triggered gate climax. We will see here the on death effect of this Ichika. This another absurd effect, honestly. So on death, you can pay 1, clock an Ichika from your waiting room to the bottom of your clock, look at up to 5 cards on the top of your deck, add an Ichika from among them, probably adding this level 1 combo.
Will he, though? Because he won't be hitting level 1 this turn, and that's something that is kind of awkward here. He does need to have another turn at level 0.
True, but that is a back row profile that he would be adding if he added the level 0.
And that's true.
So add the level 1 combo, and then additionally you get to draw 1, discard 1 for some reason.
Oh, that's a good draw.
And it's a very good card.
Level 0 hand fix. Going to go ahead and discard a 1-0 event. He can't play this turn. And then discarding another card to draw for the on-death effect of the everybody is here.
Mm-hmm. Clock draw 2. Yeah, so that level 0 yellow Quintuplets card not only is the discard a Quints character to draw on play, but it's also on death. So a lot of hand fixing going on here at level 0, and just getting all the attackers back. Both of these Mikus that are on the board in the front row are only 500 base power, so they're going to literally just get breathed on, and they are done for.
Yeah, right here we're going to use the top check 2 effect of the level 0 Ichika, and then that will give Kagari the information as to what he is able to salvage here. A 3 on the top, that's a guaranteed soul trigger, and a salvage of any card he wants.
Gonna be grabbing back that reverser Ichika.
I think that makes sense because it doesn't seem like he has a climax in hand, so he does want to have extra draws available to him to potentially try to get a climax for level 1.
Yeah.
We did talk about how easy it is for this deck to get climaxes after level 1, but before then you still need to draw it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then like even though that card is primarily used for like deck speed and grabbing specific characters, that draw, it's one more draw than he would have otherwise to try to get the climax. And Asian here with 2 cancels, so that I believe that means Asian is out 7 at this point.
Yeah, it should be.
Oh, just a little bit of confusion about what is supposed to be on top there.
That would have been very strong. If
becomes a level 3.
Becomes the level 3.
Draws the 8th
he's
climax.
He's out 8.
So what we would be looking for here from Asian's perspective is try to find the 1-0 event. The 1-0 headphones event from set 2 allows you to look at up to 5 cards from the top of your deck and add a Miku to your hand. We do not see one.
Doesn't seem like he has any in hand.
That being said, the fact that all 8 of the climaxes are out means that these level 1s are guaranteed to hit their top checks.
That's true, and that's going to be extra cards milled from the deck. So between that and a brainstorm, I do think he should be okay in milling out at least a decent amount of this deck.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about these level 1 combos. So they are 1/0/4K on play. You reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a Quints character or event, you get to marker it underneath this Miku, and if she has a marker, during your turn she gains an additional 3,000 power. Her climax combo, which we're going to be seeing in probably about 30 seconds, says when you play the climax, you count the number of markers amongst the characters on your stage, and you can salvage a character from your waiting room of that level or lower. So each of these Mikus on play, as we said, is going to be going through 1 card of the deck by taking them off the top through a marker, and we might see a brainstorm here as a follow-up to go through an additional 4 cards of the deck. Just, get through the deck, try to get to the next deck as fast as possible, and get into a point where we actually have climaxes to cancel with.
Yeah. I guess the one saving grace for Asian, not that he knows this, but Kagari does not have a climax in his hand, and so if Kagari is unable to get a climax in his hand, then might not be able to punish as hard with a 8 choice deck, not really having a lot of innate soul triggers on the climaxes at least. We will see if he chooses to brainstorm here. There's also a potential line where he does not go for a brainstorm just because there's no way he mills through this deck anyways, and so maybe he can just not brainstorm and hope that on the following turn he just doesn't take a lot of damage and can conserve that stock. But I think he's going for another marker here.
Yeah, I would definitely say that if the 4 cards that are milled via the brainstorm actually make like a sizable difference, then it could be worth to do that, pay 1 to mill 4. But if your deck is still like 16 cards or something like that, and the 4 card will turn it just from like 13 to 9, and you're still taking a bunch of damage, then it doesn't really matter that much in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. So it looks like he's opting to not brainstorm, saving the stock, and going to go ahead and salvage 2 characters
So
here.
there's 5 markers on the board. Literally everything on the board currently has a marker.
That's pretty impressive.
So anything available to be salvaged, and we do see another copy of the level 1 combo being salvaged here, since we know that he has another copy of the climax.
Didn't he discard it for an effect?
Oh, wait, did he?
I think he clocked it, actually, to get it out of his hand.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so attack order does kind of matter here because the level 0, the one that's being attacked right now, does have an on-reverse effect. And so, depending on when it is attacked, it gives Kagari the decision-making point at that point. And he decides to forego the effect, which I think is kind of interesting. I don't think his hand is quite sculpted yet, but maybe he's just foregoing it just so he doesn't want to mill too many cards from his current deck.
So the effect in particular is when that Ichigo gets reversed, you can look it up to top 3, and then if you looked at 1 or more cards, you add up to 1 Ichigo from among them to your hand and discard a card. That discard is mandatory if you looked at least 1 card, but adding an Ichigo to your hand is not mandatory.
That's correct. Yeah.
So since he looked at 0, he does not have to discard a card.
Mm-hmm. Thinking on the level, is this a difficult level decision? Actually, not a lot of very good yellow cards to level, and so it looks like he's opting to level one of the level 2 or the level 3 early play cards here. I do think in this matchup that card is not going to be as important because it doesn't really stop a lot of the damage coming through from the Miku side. Miku finisher is going to be milling 5 cards and just doing a lot of burn damage through that, and so the 3-2 isn't really able to stop that as much. However, I think he didn't even opt to use the on-death effect from the level 0 here.
I think there's still copies of the level 1 climax still in the deck that could have been drawn, so I think that the idea here is just to try to draw into them.
Yeah, and he did draw a climax. I can't tell which one. I think it is the level 1 combo, though.
So we're going to see a top check 2 rearrange from this level 0 Ichigo.
Climax and a level 3. So going to be putting the level 3 on top, so he triggers that first, and then gets to trigger the climax second here. And also this way, by discarding for the second effect, he can reveal level 3 and salvage anything he wants. So I still can't see what climax is in his hand. I imagine that if it is the level 1 climax, he's going to go ahead and salvage a level 1 combo, and if it wasn't, he would be salvaging a climax swap here. But it looks like since he did salvage level 1 combo, that is the correct level 1, so he's going to go for a full board of combos.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very strong board here, and yeah, since Asian is all out, that's at least 6 damage. And all these combos will be able to twin drive and trigger twice for each attack, so that's even more damage. And we have a soul trigger on top, so this could be a very, very, very big turn.
Yeah, I don't think this will actually be like everything twin driving here, to be honest, because we did see a climax in the second card from the top.
Well, the first one is definitely going to twin drive. Wait.
No, because we have 5 cards left in deck. I think that if you want to get this climax back in with the refresh, then you can just twin drive 1 time throughout these 3 attacks. It'll allow you to end the turn with 1 card remaining in your deck. And then on this second attack, we will naturally trigger this choice and then use the 3rd copy to twin drive it out.
Oh, yeah. I didn't notice there was 5 cards left in deck. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, so the level 1 combo here from the Ichika is when you play the climax, she gains twin drive. And then at the end of her attack, you reveal the top card of your deck, and then you salvage a character of equal or lower level. So for example, here we are seeing a choice climax on top, with climaxes being treated as level 0. Kagari has the ability to just salvage level 0. We're going to be salvaging that level 0 that we saw on the last turn. That one is needed as a clock condition for your level 2 early play, so very natural card to pick up here. And then with that twin drive, we're going to be seeing pay 1 twin drive, pay out the climax.
Yeah, so twin drive means that instead of triggering 1 time for the attack, you're going to trigger 2 times.
Right.
So any Vanguard players watching will understand this is just a very natural thing. So 1, 2, and that's going to be for 2 damage.
Mm-hmm. and then reveal the final card of the deck.
After the level up.
Right.
So we do see Asian taking a full level here, 7 damage total.
And this is going to be... Oh, that would have been a fantastic card to trigger because...
So unfortunate.
Because it gains the choice trigger while you have a choice climax in play, but unfortunately it was the one card out of the 5 that was on the bottom. So
yeah, and he instead had to trigger 2 actual choice climaxes instead of the better to trigger choice climax in this situation.
Wouldn't it have been great if that climax that we saw earlier was just on the bottom and you get a cancel?
That would have been insane. Going to grab a climax swap here, it looks like. And it looks like Asian is choosing to think about it. So he could pay 1 to save this level 0, but I don't think it's that good right now because it's not going to get a reverse on anything, is it? Not without a climax.
Not without a climax, yeah.
Yeah. And he does already have a 1/0 attacker in the back row that he can push up, so not really any reason to keep that level 0 around for any longer.
So we do see Asian here drawing the minus soul event. We do not have red yet.
A second one?
Well, we just saw one off the clock draw too. So.
Oh, that's the second one then, because he had
one
in his hand like from very early on.
Okay.
I don't think he was able to filter out.
Yeah. So that in particular is actually very strong into this particular matchup. The level 3 Ichika finisher relies on her attack being canceled in order to actually use the full extent of her finisher power. It's on cancel, you can shuffle back a certain number of characters from your opponent's waiting room into their deck, and then burn your opponent for that amount of damage. Like the equal number that you shuffle back, basically.
Right. So it's the other quints that it's on your board, right?
Yeah,
so
the number of other quints on your board.
So if you have a full board, it'll be burn 4, or shuffle back 4, burn 4. If you have fewer, it would be shuffle back however many.
Yeah.
But the important thing is
it's on cancel.
You need to cancel the first damage first if your opponent takes it, or if your opponent is able to reduce the soul amount to a very low number and just takes that number, then you don't do any extra damage.
Yeah, so it's like, wow, you swung for 3? Wow, it would be a shame if you were swinging for 0 instead.
Yes. So that actually does make sense. Maybe that's why Asian is holding on to these events in hand, because he's had many opportunities to get rid of it earlier, by just virtue of clocking and stuff like that, but he's choosing to hold on to them, likely thinking that they will be very instrumental in the final turns of the game.
Yeah. And then...
So he has 2.
Yeah. 2 copies, and then we even have the level 1 reverser in hand as well. So we have a lot of options to actually clock to gain red in order to put these events online. If you really want to value double event, you could clock the reverser. If you think only one of them is really viable, then you could clock one of the minus 3 souls. And we're seeing a brainstorm here hitting 2, salvaging 2. We're going to be grabbing an anti-overlevel backup, as well as this level 1. Are you familiar with this one?
Yeah, so it's going to be able to summon out a level 0 from the deck, I believe.
No, so this one's actually a Ditch Climax Search.
Oh, it's a Ditch Climax Search one. Oh.
Yeah. And then it also has, when this gets reversed, if the opposing character is a cost 0, you can bottom deck that opponent's reverse character.
Okay, I think I was thinking about a different set.
The summon level 0 is that red one. The red one that he has in hand.
Oh, okay.
That one summons a 0 from deck by discarding a card.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry. No, I was thinking of a different set that was a blue summon from deck. Okay, but what I did want to say was that because he hit this brainstorm off the refresh, and he's already out 2 climaxes, so he's probably thinking about ways to mill out a little bit here. But he doesn't really have that many options here. He's going to commit the red 1/0 here to summon out maybe like a brainstorm or some other way to get some milling going on. Looks like he is going to play it.
Ability.
Once again, doesn't need color.
Yeah, so doesn't use the on-play ability.
Oh, he doesn't use the ability? It is from deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Discard 1 to summon a level 0 from deck. But maybe just satisfied with the remaining contents of the hand. What is going to be the third attacker here? So these Ichikas are all 4,500 on defense, which ordinarily I think a lot of people would agree is not very high.
Yeah, but unfortunately because he missed the marker on the 1/0 Miku, that 1/0 Miku is also...
Only 4k.
Only 4k.
Only gains the 3k if you have a marker.
Oh, he's going to have to crash 2 lanes here. That's actually going to be very dangerous.
Opening up a ton of potential damage for Kagari to make use of on their next turn.
Especially after he hit 2 off the fresh deck. So he only has 6 climaxes left in that deck to cancel with.
And there's probably a climax incoming as well on the next turn too.
Yeah.
And this damage output from Asian is like not very high in the first place. I've always said that one of the worst possible things that could happen in a matchup against Ichika is that you fall behind by a lot. And that's what it looks like is going to happen here, because this damage potential currently with no triggers is putting Kagari at most 2-1.
Yeah.
And Asian is already at 2-2 before Kagari has even done any additional attacks. So there is a lot of potential to fall super behind right now.
And another disadvantage of having to open up your board like this with these crashes is that you're opening up direct lanes for Kagari's early play Ichikas to attack without fear of the counter. So you're salvaging an anti-overlevel counter and then not even having a board to use it to defend or even threaten the early play cards of Kagari. Because Kagari wants to clock that specific level 0 clock condition and play a bunch of the 3-2s and just get a ton of resources and board presence that way.
Yeah.
Now, he doesn't have the right climax and waiting room.
It's third from the top in his stock right now.
So he should be able to pay it out just by
second from the top.
So he should be able to pay it out, and now he should be able to use the Sun Hat Ichika to grab it as long as he makes the board condition work. So he just needs to play 2 more cards and then able to grab that online.
Actually has both copies of that Climax Salvager Ichika.
Yeah, he's in a really good position. I wonder what he's thinking about. I feel like this is, you just play 2 more and then probably play the Brainstormer here.
I think the only thing that you could realistically be thinking about is what is the 5th slot in your back row.
Yeah, I think the Brainstorm is just a really easy card to play here. Whether you use the effect or not, the Brainstorm has an ability just to get itself off the board at a later point in time just to get some extra deck speed and selectivity. So it's a very comfortable card to just put down and like not even just worry about it because it'll come up later. It's a very strong card.
All right, so here she comes.
Yep, that's
here
the
she
Brainstorm.
comes.
And you don't have the Brainstorm, you can just do this to go ahead and grab. And it's actually even better because on the off chance that Ichika reveals a Climax off the top here, that's so good.
That's a level 3 finisher.
Yeah.
Why does this card grab a Climax and get the top card again? Like, what a ridiculously strong card.
It's so good. It's such a good card. And now, like, what I was saying is, even if you reveal a Climax and miss, having the Brainstorm in the back row means that you could just use the Brainstorm effect just to convert that to another plus and some extra milling.
I mean, you could just attack with the combo first and then shuffle the deck.
That's also true.
So
many ways.
So let's talk about this combo. So we talked about how it's an early play if you have that specific level 0 Ichika in your clock. The combo itself is going to be on attack. You get to search your deck for 2 Quince characters. Two Ichika.
It should be Quince.
2 Quince characters.
It should be Quince. Yeah.
It's an all Ichika deck basically. Anyway,
I mean, this deck is going to be searching for 2 Quince characters.
Yeah. So you get to search for 2 of them. One of them goes to hand. One of them goes to stock. And then for some reason you also get 3,000 power.
Yeah. 3,000 is so big. I believe it's Quince characters because I think by set 2 they still weren't completely shoehorned into like the mono name builds. That's why a lot of the set 2 combos kind of work around anything. Like for example, like the level 1 combos, they're like very flexible.
I think it depends, because the thing is that one trend that I've noticed is that all of the double R cards are always Quince characters. That none of the double R's are name specific, but this is a rare.
This
so
is
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, the cards that we're seeing grabbed here, so we're seeing the minus Soul backup being added, and then a copy of that level 0 Ichika is being sent to stock.
Yeah, so once that's fulfilled the clock condition in this deck, it really has no more usage, and so usually it's a very safe card to just
for 5. Oh, okay, good. Cancel
off the top. That's very powerful. Well,
okay.
Ideally,
we would have liked it to be deeper into the deck,
but it is really important to cancel that 5.
Yeah, a cancel is better than not canceling.
Are you going to? Is that a side attack?
I would imagine it's a side attack, and then this is going to be an extra choice off of that 1-0.
Correct. Just go for stock here. That makes a lot of sense. I think
I see 2 fingers.
Overhand. Yeah, side attack for 2. Very smart. Playing around the anti-overlevel counter that we know is already there.
Yes.
So would be very, very silly to walk into that at this point.
This is an obscenely compressed deck right now, by the way.
So powerful. Yeah, I see so many climaxes and full hand, a lot of stock. As we said, stock is something that, as we said in the previous game, stock is something that Quintessential Quintuplets decks have a very hard time getting through because they don't have any natural way of dealing with stock compression. They don't have any ways to manipulate or affect your opponent's stock. So one of the powerful things about Ishika in the kind of the Quints metagame is that Ishika generates much more stock than the other decks, and thus, or much more clean stock, I would say, than the other decks, and thus has that edge in being much more compressed.
Yeah. Hey, look, more stock.
Hey, look, that's another cancel.
pretty good, staying here
Canceled
at
both directs.
2-4.
That's actually probably the best he could have.
Draws level 1
asked
combo.
for. Well, that was almost a triple cancel. What the heck?
Drawing level 1 combo, that's a we take those.
Yeah,
we have the level 1
crazy
combo
good.
in
Just
hand
the
from the
back
previous
row.
turn.
And in the back row. Oh, that's what you.
That's the one I meant. Yeah, the one that was sitting in the back.
I was like, oh, there's another one in hand. That's crazy.
We have the level 1 combo from the previous turn that was just parked in the back row.
He hits.
He had like what, 3 left in deck?
He was 6 in deck. He canceled twice, drew 1, hit 1. He has 2 left in deck. That's pretty good.
We take those.
Yeah, that's really good. I think this is. I mean, I do think Asian was behind and was looking down, at a potential perilous path, but I think he found the one line to get himself back in the game pretty comfortably. We'll see how the damage looks at this game. Now, I wonder how much resources do you think Kagari is going to spend defensively this turn with the effects of the 3-2 early play? Because there's one more effect of that 3-2 early play we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah. Well, okay, in terms of Asian side, I don't think we're going to be seeing anything particularly exciting here. It's probably just going to be like a triple crash. Mm-hmm. Maybe utilizing this level 1 Miku. She has an on-play effect of, I believe it's top check 3, add anything.
Oh, okay.
On-play pay 1, ditch 1, top check 3, add anything.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be seeing this just to like get through the deck now that we know that a lot of the climaxes are out. But overall, it's just going to be like a triple crash.
Correct.
As far as the Ichika goes, so this Ichika has a 3rd effect when she gets attacked. So what is that effect?
Yeah, so when she is attacked, and that's any attack, whether it's a front or a side attack, before the trigger, the player is allowed to pay 1. And if you pay 1, you can look at the top 2 cards of your own deck, choose as many of them as you want to send to the waiting room, and put the rest back in any order. And that's a really strong defensive tool because if you see 2 clean cards, you can just get rid of them, and that means that that's 2 potential damage you're not taking. If you see a climax, then you're able to stack that climax however you want. So like if your opponent is, you can like put it second so you can even get through a clean card, or in crazier situations, if your opponent is like attacking for 1,
and then they're following it up with like a 3 or something,
and you can actually just stack it on top, take the 1 guaranteed, and then now you're guaranteed canceling that 3. It's such a powerful defensive tool.
Yeah. So the reason that we don't know exactly how much he's going to use the effect here is because, as we said, that deck is really compressed. So we might just see some natural cancels without even needing to use the effect. So we're going to see here, Kagari is going to be thinking.
He's going to be thinking about it. He does have a climax that he triggered that he would like to pay out. And yeah, this is going to be interesting. We'll see what happens here. What do you think he's going to do? I think he's going to do it.
Okay, so we are going to see it here.
At least the first one, because...
it just gets rid of 2 off the top. Swing for 3, and a cancel.
Okay, would have canceled naturally, but now he's paid out the climax, and he's in a pretty good spot. Yeah, I think he just has so many resources here that there's just no reason to not, I think, actually.
With the amount of stock, right?
With the amount of stock that he has. And he has full hand, and he's not losing this board, so even if he would have naturally canceled, it's just such a good reassurance, right? Like, he's in a position where it's very hard for him to lose, and so he should use all his tools to make sure that he doesn't lose, even to the slightest margin of error.
Yeah. So here we are seeing... actually, no, that is not something that should have happened. So so we have the 1-0, right? The 1-0. He just used the effect of it where when you trigger the gate climax, you can pay 1, line stock 1, draw 1, ditch 1.
Yeah.
But it hadn't attacked yet. Doesn't this have to attack?
No, I think this is the one where if it has a marker, it always gets the effect, right?
Oh, yeah, it's any. Okay,
yeah, it's any.
Sorry, that's my mistake.
Yeah.
Usually, those types of effect, you need to attack with the character that has it first, and then it gives it to all the... But this one is just if it has a marker.
Right. Yeah, I remember because I played with this.
Okay, so that's my bad. I'm not super experienced with Miku compared to, like, to a lot of the other Quintessentials, honestly. I think Miku's probably the one that I'm least experienced with, to be completely honest.
I think I have more experience with the deck than you.
Probably.
I played it a decent amount of times. Yeah, so, dealt no damage that turn.
Dealt 0 damage.
0 damage.
And then Kagari is sitting pretty with his entire board intact, 6 stock, has another copy of the 3-2 early play that can be played right now to get the climax back if he wants.
Or if he like draws the climax, like I think he still has climaxes in the deck. So okay, so we are in this interesting situation here where he is like he's in such a good state that again, like I said, he's such a good state. He needs to maintain that. Will he choose to brainstorm here to get into the new deck? Well, he does draw a climax here. Okay, that's really interesting, actually.
What's a level 1 climax?
Right, but he does have a climax swap in hand. So he can use the climax swap in hand to swap into the level 3 climax instead of having to pay 2 stock for the Sun Hat, which is what we're
Speaking of which.
And I think after this, he will choose to brainstorm so he can get out of this deck and search from the clean deck and compress even more from that new clean deck.
I think what I would consider doing here is, instead of using the Brainstorm, I think what I would consider here is playing, because I believe there's a 1-0 event in hand. What I would consider is play a 1-0 event. I don't think the bounce is super relevant here, but I do think that if you, like, for example, get through 2 cards, you can maybe use, like, 1 combo on the last 3 cards of deck, and then attack with the second instance of the combo into the new deck.
Right. I think he still has a... I think he's going to do it, but... I was going to say, he still has a climax in deck, I'm pretty sure. If he doesn't mill the climax, that could have messed it up, because you can't search the climaxes, and that would have been the last card in deck. But he mills the climax here, which I believe now he is all out. And so that's 3 clean cards that, just like you said, he gets to attack with 1 combo, and then the second combo is going to attack into the fresh deck. This is basically as good as it gets for Ichika at level 2.
Yeah, because what's nice about attacking here with 3 cards left in deck and none of them being climaxes is that you're guaranteed 1 clean trigger.
Yep, and the top check too. Actually, was there... I think that was an event in the deck that I saw, which you can't add from the combo, so I think...
I guess that's probably getting triggered then, right?
Either triggered or you search around it. So, yeah, let's see. I think it's an event. Oh, it's not an event. Did I just miss... Well, was that not an event?
Well, it did. You need to show that card.
Oh, no, it was...
it was the level 0 hand filter.
Okay. It's kind of...
They look kind of similar.
Like the dark color on the shirt. Okay. All right, so those 3 clean cards, perfect, just as we were talking about. Now, the compression is like all 7 climaxes other than the one in play is going back in the deck. And the last, Ichika is going to be able to search 2 clean from that new deck, compressing even more.
And one of them's the finisher. And we still have the other copy of the 3-2 early play in hand.
Yeah, we've saved the Sun Hat Ichika for the final turn. If we're even hitting final turn, like, I could see this Ichika deck still staying at 2 for another turn. We still have 2 copies of the defensive early play.
Yeah.
This is really strong.
This is exactly the scenario that I've been saying this whole time. You never want to be in this situation against Ichika, because Ichika can just take a lead and just take it so far. Ichika is like the perfect deck. If you're the kind of player that absolutely despises exploding from 2, Ichika's like a perfect deck for you then. Yeah. Because this deck, with that defensive tool of being able to top check 2 and get rid of the non-climaxes and dig closer to those climaxes to cancel damage, this card is just so good for just not exploding.
Yeah, look at okay. We do end up triggering a climax off the attack here, which is a little unfortunate, but at least we didn't clock it off the refresh resolution, and so we're gonna get a 3rd attack here, and this is gonna be for 4 damage, and Asian is iterating through 2 already. Refreshes a climax. Can he cancel this 4?
Oh, this is not looking good, and it's a 3-2 that ended up in clock. So if Asian is unfortunate enough here to take this last swing, that Miku is going to be stranded in the clock, unable to be used. So really, really, really need to hope for a cancel here.
Yeah.
Well, actually, first he really, really needs to hope that there's not a trigger here.
Oh, yeah.
Because that turns it into a lethal swing for 5.
Yeah. He does level a red card for the event, so good prep for the next turn. But yeah, we gotta see if we get to that next turn.
Yeah, we need to see if we get there first. So we see Kagari here taking 2 non-soul triggers out of the deck, probably
I think
trying
that's
to
very smart.
Fish for 5.
Fish for 5. Doesn't get
not
it.
A 5.
Cancel off the top.
Okay.
There's still more Weiss to be played.
No level 3 climax though in the hand.
Oh man. I mean, I at this point I don't even think you have. I think you have to just try to survive another turn. I just don't think you can afford to try to go for a finisher turn. I think you try to heal twice here, and then just hope you don't die.
Do we have 2 healers? I don't. Oh, we do have 2 healers. We have an early play healer as well. We have a blue early play healer
and a green one.
And a green one, which is on the board.
Yeah.
So we are seeing the level 3 being added as a marker underneath this level 0 back row Miku. This level 0 back row Miku has been like absent the entire game.
Right.
So this card has an effect that is normally quite good to be used throughout the game, which is you can pay 1, rest it, and choose a card from your hand and put it underneath itself as a marker in order to salvage a character. And then additionally, if you have the level 3 climax combo underneath it as a marker and you're at level 3, you can pay 1, rest it, and then you take the level 3 from the markers and you slap it right on top, and it also procs the heal.
Yes. And any markers underneath it become the new markers of the level 3. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure.
Sorry, say. Oh, yeah. And then any markers that were underneath become markers underneath level 3 as well.
Yeah. Right here, looking like he's looking over some potential salvage targets. So the level 0 is able to salvage. Oh, wait, what did he do to salvage here?
So he used the level 0 Miku, sacrifice itself, discard a card.
To grab a card. Okay, so that's how he got the 2-1 out.
Yeah.
So this 2-1 will combo with the level 3 climax, but he doesn't have the level 3 climax right now.
Yeah, mainly using it just to be a big attacker to address the board, because on play you can you can marker the level 1 combo, and then as long as it has a marker, it gains 9,000 power.
It's going to be definitely contesting. Alright, so using the top 2 effect here, he did trigger 2 choice climaxes right before this, so definitely wanting to pay out those.
Wow, this looks familiar.
Yeah, did he use a minus soul there?
No.
He just used the counter to win the lane. I see. Oh, took the damage though. So surprising, even through 2 copies of the Ichika early play, did take
enough damage
to hit level 3 here.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but he does have triple level 3. He topped at the climax.
Wow.
And 6 stock, 7 stock, exactly enough for triple.
Well, you only need 6 because
not exactly enough, but I mean like
you have enough.
Sorry, not exactly, but enough for triple here. Now, what's really interesting is Asian does have 2 copies of the -3 soul event.
Yes,
and he does have 2 characters on board. The fact that he chose to play those healers and this 2-1, this valuable 2-1 that got extra 9k power is going to come in big if Kagari decides to front that. So I'm assuming that Kagari is knowledgeable or cognizant at least of the events in this matchup. I wonder if he's going to try to fish for ways to
bounce board.
There's the 2-1 that can bounce, but that will... The 2-1 that can bounce, but it's going to cost some stock, and unfortunately this brainstorm is a search brainstorm, and that deck does not look like it has many options here.
Yeah, in fact, the thing that I'm worried about here now is that if Kagari... Okay, so first of all, what is Kagari going to do with the remaining 3 cards of the deck, which we know has 2 climaxes? And if getting rid of those 2 climaxes involves spending stock, then that means that... Oh, wait, no, we have a hand of stock.
So what I think he can do here is he can use the brainstorm to check 4, grab the 1-0 that's still... Well, he has to send the waiting room. Yeah. Grab the 1-0, send the rest of the waiting room, so now all the climaxes are back in the deck. He can cancel with them on the new deck, and then he can hand a stock with the climax swapper to still hit the 6 stock threshold that he needs.
Is that enough cards in hand to do that?
I think so.
Because each one of those Ichikas requires a discard 1 for its combo, and so that's 3 Ichikas plus climax plus 3 discards plus hand of stock plus a card to send to stock.
He might be one off. He might need a trigger.
Yeah, that's like 9. That's 9 cards.
Yeah, he might need a trigger one. He does have a lot of cards though, so it might be either he's close or he's one off. But the problem though is that he can't deal with this board, and he's gonna have to front into these characters and get hit by the
minus soul counter.
Now,
the thing that I'm thinking about here in terms of the minus soul counter is, so on one end, you could say,
oh, the bouncer was in stock. You didn't even have access to it. That's really rough.
So on one end, you could say, oh, Asian has 2 minus soul counters in his hand and 6 stock that could be used for both minus soul counters, right? On the flip side, you could also ask yourself, what are we doing next turn if we use all 6 stock on these minus soul counters?
So he has 4 cards in hand to discard, so he does have more. He actually has more than enough.
Direct for 5 here.
Direct for 5. That's a big number.
So as we said earlier, this effect is on cancel. We need to cancel. We need to cancel. Oh,
cancel on 5. That's huge. Yeah. With these effects, you really want to cancel as late as possible because the Ichikas are also shuffling clean cards back into the deck. So if you cancel too early, that means that it exacerbates the effect of your deck becoming even more decompressed. And that's like how these combos can really get out of hand if you cancel off the top and then all of a sudden they shuffle back 4 and now you have like 10 cards and it's just all clean and then it's just over.
Yeah.
The cancel on 5 is huge.
Yeah, and then so there's two things. You want to cancel as late as possible, and then if you're going to eat anything, you want to eat the smallest attacks possible.
Correct. So now it's going to be a burn for 4. This is going to be very big because I think if Asian takes this 4, he's going to be in a position where he needs to basically counter at least once and not twice. Mm-hmm. However, if he can cancel this 4, he doesn't need a counter. And that's going to be huge because he gets a save force.
There it is.
That's crazy. He doesn't need to counter this one then.
Well, it could still potentially be lethal because if... Oh, actually, no, yeah, you're right.
He doesn't need to counter. He doesn't need to counter anymore.
One of them guaranteed does not need to be countered anymore.
Right. So So if I was Asian here, I would not counter because it's a free combo that you get to iterate through. If you don't counter here, it means you get guaranteed 3 stock to work with on the following turn.
I mean, like, he can pick whichever one. I think that, so this one did not trigger, right? Oh, discarding to bounce the healer.
Wait, discard what to bounce?
Discarding -3 soul to bounce the healer back to hand.
The healer has a bounce?
Yeah, so this is the one I said earlier. It's, if you meet field requirement, it gains additional power, and then gains the effect where, when this is front attacked, you can discard a card to bounce it back to hand.
Oh, interesting. Why did he choose the... Well, he still can counter, even though he bounced, because this is still a front attack.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see the results of this attack first.
I see.
And then...
So, did he trigger yet? Oh, he did trigger.
It was triggered a choice.
A choice, and then he's discarded. Is he gonna Okay, is he gonna counter here?
I feel like you should wait for the second attack.
I would wait here, but okay, he decides to not.
Because if you cancel the swing and the burn on the first attack, then you're all clear, and you don't even need to.
Yeah, you don't need a counter at all. Okay, but now it's basically, now because he used the counter, he's safe. Like, there's no way that he takes lethal damage here because at most is a cancel and then a shuffle back 4, burn 4.
So the most damage that he could end this turn at is 3/4. So
Correct.
He's in the clear.
He's in the clear. He was in the clear the moment he canceled the first burn 4, or the first cancel. No, the first burn 4, because he canceled the swing, and then the moment he canceled the 4, he was in the clear. But it's like, I guess, how much in the clear he is. This is kind of the weakness of the Ichika combo, where it is a lot of damage, but it is big instances of damage that are kind of like dependent on each other, and so at some point you do cap out on like maximum possible damage, right? And that's the case with all damage finisher profiles and Weiss Schwarz that rely on canceling. Canceling requires a certain amount of damage to be dealt, and it raises the floor and caps the ceiling. Wow, this is really interesting. And Kagari did trigger a choice, and I guess at this point it's like, can Miku get
another cancel?
Oh, okay, well, that's not what I was gonna say they could get. But if they can get the climax and just another finisher, this could turn around in an instant.
Yeah, so I think the idea of bouncing back that healer back to the hand was, with the 3 remaining stock, you can change this level 0 into the 3, and then you can play the healer that you bounce back, and you have 2 heals for 3 stock. I think that's the idea. And especially because we don't have the climax right now, I think that you need to have some sort of backup plan. Just play healers and not die.
Not die. Do you think the backup plan is to play healers and not die, or do you think we should try to dig for the restander here?
I don't know if we really have the means to.
Okay.
We are going to go with the healer.
Or they're going to go for a heal.
Is this just going to be two just like random...
2 soul attackers? Are you going to do the change here?
I feel like you should never do the change here.
Yeah, so then just attack vanilla swings? That's not going to be enough damage, though, for lethal. Like, there's no lethal's not presented on board here. Going for a brainstorm. No, there's... Oh, really interesting.
I think he's just looking for options at this point. And then also, he did cancel a lot on the last turn, so
that's
like,
true.
Yeah, we need to get through all these clean cards that got shuffled back into the deck somehow.
I mean, I think we got really excited by the potential final turn from Ichika, but now that we're past the final turn, it's looking like the game might last another turn as well, because I don't think Asian is... I don't think Asian's presenting enough damage unless these are all triggers and they all stick.
Just playing a counter to hold the board.
And it's a cancel. Okay.
For 2, gonna be able to grab the level 3 gate climax off of that.
Definitely. For 1, and...
So I believe that we were grabbing this specific... Interesting not going 3 cards.
Yeah, because he didn't have a climax and... Oh, but because he wanted to discard the climax. He discarded level 3 climax.
Discarded the climax?
He discarded level 3 climax and grabbed the restander.
Okay.
I think that makes sense because he needs to survive this turn. Right? There's no point in holding the climax if, you know, your opponent just wins here, right? Sure. You do want to just compress with all of the climaxes possible and going for the off finisher restander combo so that if in case he does survive another turn, he has a way to go for the finishing game. But, like, at this point, like, is there just, like, I think Kagari can just re-salvage the... Wait, doesn't have...
I think it was discarded earlier.
I mean, does the... I guess just no way to get back to it. No Sun Hat, no like way to get to Sun Hat.
I think we had the level 0 discard 1 reveal top. I think we had that in hand. Could have potentially.
I mean, oh wow. That's kind of unfortunate because like I feel like this is such a crazy strong board condition if you are just able to get the climax back into hand and sit in the waiting room, but just no way to get it back into hand.
To be completely honest, I feel like this could be a time control thing, where
it could be,
where we might be getting close to time, players need to be making their moves. We still see no climax here, but we have Ichika here at 3-4. Like it's just you could just throw some swings in and maybe they stick.
And there's going to be an extra swing from the restand.
We're seeing a change.
A change for another 2-soul attacker. Two-soul attacker is really valuable here because they're able to get the extra damage. Kagari did play another early play, so he does have one defensive tool on the board.
But we're putting the level 0 in front of it.
Oh, yeah, that's very smart.
Putting the level 0 as the attacker in front of the level 3s.
Are markers required for that 1-0 effect?
No, they're not.
Yeah, we could just use it to get some top deck information. That is a non-soul trigger, so maybe we just put the non-soul trigger away, trying to dig for extra damage here.
Mill 2,
just to see some cards.
Well, the Mill 2, it does have a 1,000 power debuff associated with it if you hit a climax.
Okay.
So maybe that could be important.
That's huge.
Oh, it's double lethal.
That's huge.
So this level 3 that was just put on the board is so when this attacks, this gets 500 times the number of other characters until end of turn. So it's only 12, and this counter is going to put the...
No, he's going to use that...
Oh, restand. Or use the sack effect to get out of the way of the restand, but wasn't the power level just enough on defense? The Ichika
also,
is...
I'm pretty sure that's not a sack counter, is it?
Oh, it's not a sack counter. Yeah, that's not a sack counter.
That's not a sack counter.
But he just took 3.
I mean, he just took 3 and died.
Yeah.
So, I guess that didn't matter. He took 3 and died. I mean, that was such a prolonged level 3 game. That was so interesting.
And, like, Miku actually not really having any semblance of an endgame. We didn't even see a level 2 combo in the level 2 game, which would ordinarily allow you to help set up your endgame by getting you extra stock, getting you extra dig, draw 2, ditch 2, and in retrospect, this was an absolute... I feel like you could snapshot most points of this game and be like, oh yeah, Ichika's gonna win this game.
Yeah, if you told me 3 turns ago that Ichika was gonna lose, I would say you're crazy. And if you told me 3 turns ago that Miku was going to lose and that Miku was never going to level 3 climax combo, I would say you're insane.
That was definitely one of the games of all time for both of these players, I'm sure. Because, literally, from the Ichika perspective, you get triple level 1 combo, you get triple level 3 combo, your board... Or no, sorry, double level 3 combo, into double level 3 combo, into triple finisher combo... That was triple
finisher.
Into triple finisher combo.
Triple finisher combo.
Literally, you got everything that you ever wanted, and then you died.
Two vanilla swings.
Yeah, literally, from low 2 to here, Miku played the hokey pokey, and it just stuck enough. That's kind of crazy to think about.
That's so insane.
I feel like there was just so much that we didn't get to show from Miku, to be completely honest. It's we had that level 3 combo that we just straight up didn't get to talk about. We might as well just talk about it real quick.
Why not?
Yeah, sure. So the level 3, the one that got changed into from the level 0 with the marker, it has that on-play heal effect, whether played from hand or if you change into it from the marker.
She didn't even attack.
Which, not only did she not attack, I don't think she healed. I don't think she healed.
Didn't even
she didn't heal, because we played the other healer. So she didn't heal. So her climax combo with the gate climax not holding back is on attack, you pay 1 if you have 2 or more other quintuplets characters. You may pay cost. If you do, you put the bottom 4 cards of the opponent's deck into their waiting room, and then if you have the brainstorm, which he did, then it's send 5 cards instead of 4 cards. If there is a climax, any number of climaxes within those milled cards, you burn 1 either once or twice, depending on how many markers you have on board.
Yeah.
And in that board state, there were 3 markers.
At
because
least.
there was 1 underneath her, there was 1 underneath that 1-0 in the back row, there was 1 underneath the brainstorm.
Correct.
So if we had the climax at that point, then it would have been a potential burn one. Typically, this is probably the best option within all of quintuplets, I would say, for dealing with compressed deck states.
Yes.
Because it just naturally, just like, oh, you have a lot of climaxes in deck, I'm going to mill your deck now. So this is honestly like a really scary combo to go up against because it has a lot of like, it just has a lot of potential to steal the game away. In other cases where, like, in a normal deck, you would just have a lot of climaxes to work within your deck, and you just go cancel, and you're chilling.
Yeah, and one thing about the Miku version of this kind of mill bottom cards burn is that it works in her favor, is that her damage output is actually not dependent on how many climaxes you mill, it's dependent on how many markers you have. As long as you hit one climax, you're going to be dealing the max amount of damage based off your markers, whereas other combos of similar nature are kind of dependent on how many climaxes you mill, and you kind of need to mill this like weird optimal number of climaxes where you don't want to mill too little, but you also don't want to mill too much. With Miku, as long as you hit one, she's dealing maximum damage.
Well, I would say for those other ones, you probably just want to hit as many climaxes.
Well,
right?
Not the ones where you have to burn a flat amount for climaxes milled, right? Because if you mill 4 climaxes and burn 4, they still cancel, then you still do no damage.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, we've seen more popular ones recently, such as Chainsaw Man's Aki, where those ones, it's just like, for each climax, burn 1 that many times. For those ones, you just want to hit as many climaxes as possible.
That's correct, yeah.
But yeah, Miku, a very strong, like, just overall finisher with her new package especially. But we just, unfortunately, question mark?
Fortunately for who?
Yeah, we did not see that combo come up in this game.
Yes.
So, yeah, do you have any final thoughts on the game, on any of the cards that we may have seen in this particular game?
Yeah, I think just looking back from the Ishika player's perspective, as an Ishika player myself, I think that game basically went perfectly for the entire game until one very, very, very crucial moment. And I think ultimately this is just the biggest weakness of the Ishika deck, is that I did triple level 3 combo and they were not dead.
Yeah.
This level 3 combo is simply just not good enough. If I can have a perfect game, literally perfect game, and then it doesn't finish the game with this level 3 combo, then the level 3 combo has to be the problem.
Yeah, because literally everything up to this point, we're basically just like glazing.
I could not have written a more scripted game in Ishika's favor.
I could have. I've been a part of one of those games.
Sure, but to have that kind of game, that kind of upper echelon game, and still not be able to close it out, this level 3 combo, as good as it is in some deck states, it is just simply not consistently good enough at closing out the game.
All right. In any case, that is going to do it for us here for the top 16 game. So game 2 of our 5-game series that we're going to be giving you guys. So until next time, this has been Randall, aka Shizukatz, and
Simu, also known as Chairman.
And this has been the BCS 24-25 Pasadena post-event coverage commentary, supported by Bushiroad and hosted here on our Tressa's Collectibles channel. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.